The following podcast is part of the MindBodySpirit.fm podcast network.
Wholeness means to me being in a state of joy.
Wholeness means feeling complete, owning my authentic gifts.
Wholeness is really connected. Everything is connected to everything.
Wholeness is where we have access to all parts of ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. So the card, this is a deck. It's the blue butterfly. Look at, see the pretty butterflies? That's one of my signs. So anyway, this is the card we picked was take the next step now. And it says, if you feel stalled or stuck, this card is offering a solution. It's time to take action. Even a small step in the direction of your vision will help you feel a sense of progress and hope. You already know what the next step is as your heart is leading you there. Imagine what you would do if you had unlimited time, energy, finances. This is your answer. As you step into the world of the unlimited, your resources come to you exactly as you need them, provided you listen and follow your inner wisdom. Remember that you will never be asked to do anything that could harm you or a loved one, as your divine guidance is a conversation of love. So it's like, take a leap of faith, break down your goals into baby steps. So that's a good one to like end the year on,
or start thinking about as you're starting next year.
Yeah,
I was like, I think that might have been for the Wholeness Network.
That's right.
I like that one.
Yep, totally.
So today, like Michelle and I just kind of wanted to go over what our vision for 2025 is going to be and kind of what we have set up, and we're really excited. It was really fun coming up with these ideas, and we decided that we wanted to highlight some of our favorite books, our books that actually some of them are not, well, let's see. One of them is like a novel, I guess, but some of them are nonfiction, I would say. Most of them are nonfiction, but just books that have either had an effect on our lives or that we want to have an effect on our lives. Like some of them I haven't read. I think, have you read them all, Michelle?
I haven't read the novel yet.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that one. I've already got it. It's ready to
go.
Oh,
good. Awesome. Okay, so I was just going to go over what the month and the book that we're going to be reading. So if you wanted to read along with us, we would actually really love that. I think we could have some really cool conversations with that, or just so that you're aware for the next coming year, or you're like, oh, I love that book, or I want to talk about that book. Then you've got that going. So January, we're going to be reading The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And Michelle, you want to tell us the big surprise?
Yeah, we're so excited because we're getting, Gay is going to come on and we're going to have him as a guest on our podcast. So if you have questions, let us know. You can email us at info@thewholenessnetwork.com and let us know, or get into our DMs on social media. And if you have any questions or do you want to know anything, but the book is so amazing. And it's the beginning of the book I've just started it over again. And it's like, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if we can do this. I don't know. And I remember at the end of the book going, oh my gosh, this is right. You know what I mean? This is right. So there's so many little nuggets. So I guess I won't want to spoil anything, but I'm really excited to ask him some questions because it is really one of those kind of books that just feels true in your gut, like feels like this is the way it works. But it's kind of new, or you just haven't thought about it before, or so it's a great way to start the year. Totally great way to start the year. Yeah,
I think so. I think it'll be awesome. And then February, we're going to be reading Attached, and I can't remember the author.
There's two authors. It's a man and woman. I can't remember their names. But yeah, we're gonna try and
we'll put it in the show notes so you'll know. And we'll know it by February. We'll know it real well.
Yeah, we sure will. Yeah. Have you read that book yet?
I haven't.
Okay. Yeah.
I've ordered it.
Yeah. So it's a good book for February, love. It kind of is what the focus is. And it's really an interesting way to understand that these are attachment styles, how much effect they have on our relationships, and how to, kind of accept your own attachment style, and then how to understand and read your partner's or your spouse's attachment style. It just kind of, for me at least, it was like, oh, well, that makes sense. And sometimes you'll be like, we'll tease and it will be like, oh, attachment style coming up. and or things like that, because the more that to me it's just kind of like, oh, okay, I'm not necessarily making a conscious decision. That is the programming. And just by being aware of that programming, it helps, but to understand where the programming, what the programming was. And it's not necessarily about the story of what happened as we were, under two. But it's just because sometimes, that story is not always our parents are bad, it's sometimes it's a big family, sometimes it's illness, sometimes it's so many things that just can affect the way that we attach to the parents in our lives. And we repeat that attachment through the rest of our close relationships. So it's really good to know. And some of the attachment styles, like there's a avoidant attachment style. I think different books have different names. So I think this one is avoidant. They would like some space. They like, it's like, hey, let's, you're you, I'm me. Let's go do our lives. And then every once in a while we'll come together, and to somebody who's an anxious, who is like, let's be together all the time, like those two people are going to have some trouble, right? But it's not like that hers is wrong and his is wrong. That's their attachment style. And so then you begin to understand how you can each support each other, and nobody wins, nobody loses.
Yeah, I think that is a great thing for any relationship. Like even
Yes.
sometimes working relationships,
Yeah.
understanding that, and maybe you wouldn't know them, but maybe you could guess,
Right.
But I've noticed that show up sometimes is like you really offend somebody. And anyway, I think that'd be
Yep.
really awesome.
Yeah. So we'll touch on some of those themes of, attachment and a relationship in February.
Okay, awesome. And then in March, we're going to be reading The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, right?
Yes.
And Michelle has listened to that, correct?
Yes.
And is it
Loved it.
short? Or
I
is
don't think
it
it's
an
too
average?
long. I think it's average 6 or
Oh,
7
okay.
hours if you're listening to it. But I really like it. It's so, um, it's such a good way of thinking about how I create my life and what that looks like. And so Rick Rubin is a music producer. He's produced almost every kind of musician or artist, and from like hard rock to like, all these kinds of things. And he has a process, he sits down and he says, what speaks true to you, and so that's what the book is really about, is just really, I don't know, for me, it just kind of gives you that permission to be who you're meant to be, to express yourself in your own way, and to um, not shy away from it. That your creation, what you bring to the world, is very valid. And I don't know, I think you'll like it. It's really fulfilling book. Really, really good. I mean,
I
if I
think
could get him on the podcast, oh man,
score. Hey, you never manifest. You're a manifester, so let's get it
let's do
going.
it.
Well, I think about people that I've noticed that have created something that has never been created before, and how much value it adds to just me personally. And
Mhm.
this is silly, not silly. Some people might think it's silly, but like Jim Henson in the Muppets, like he really did something that kind of had been done, but so different. He took a leap, and it has changed the world in a way, right? In this little space. And so just by him being open to that and being creative and sharing his vision, I just love stories like that. So I'm excited to read that.
Yeah, if you follow him on social media, on it, I mean, he has this long gray beard. I mean, he looks like he's, he just looks like, has this deep, deep voice. You feel like you're being taught from God. Like he's such an amazing character. He's always barefoot. He's just really, really
Oh.
all about just authenticity and your creativity, and to just give it to the world. It's really, really good. So
That's awesome. I can't wait.
March, great.
Yeah. And then April, we're reading a graphic novel, and it's The Boy, the Fox, the Horse. I can never remember
I know it goes in the order
order.
that they show up, but that doesn't help me. The boy,
No.
the
I'm
fox,
pretty sure though is The
the
Boy and the
boy, the
Fox are
fox,
first.
the mole, horse, and the mole and the horse. I don't know.
Oh.
If you have
So
not been introduced to that book, then you should. It is like a must.
yeah.
It's such full of depth. I
I
can't
have
wait.
4 copies sitting here
Do
because I
you?
give it away so often.
So good.
Yeah,
So,
I
so good.
remember reading it. I remember reading it in the tub one night. Someone had said they loved this book or whatever. I was on like Facebook or something. And so I saw it at the library in the graphic art section, graphic novel section. Sorry, I saw it in the graphic novel section. And so I grabbed it and I thought, well, I'm going to start it. I ended up finishing it because it's fairly fast
Yeah.
read.
Yeah.
And I remember this is so silly, but I was like holding it to my heart and being like, oh my gosh, this took my breath away. Like this was so beautiful. And
Hmm.
I just, yeah, I bought an extra copy that night, sent it to my mom. And yeah, Charles Mackey, is that who
Hmm.
wrote it?
Yeah. Follow him on social media too, because he is just always so he drew the art and he always just has like, he's so uplifting. It's always
Yeah,
just uplifting.
that's the
Um,
book. Yeah.
yeah, it's just what's the bravest thing you've ever said or you'll ever say? Help. Like
Oh,
that's deep. You know what I mean? Like
yes.
it's deep. So yeah, I can't wait for that one. And there's a movie on Apple Plus where they've kind of
Oh,
tried
yeah.
to convert it to the movie. So if you're in a rush, watch the movie. You'll get a gist. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think the art does help. So I think that's smart. Like, I don't know that you want to listen to that book or anything, but
right, right, right.
yeah.
I know grown men, um, actually, who listen to that like a bedtime story.
Oh,
Several grown men in my that I know, they'll put that on and put it, their AirPods in or whatever, and fall asleep to that book because it's just gentle. It's just like
mhm.
loving. I don't know how. I love the way you said you were just like, yes, that's it.
Yeah, yeah,
Totally.
yeah. That's okay. So maybe you do want to listen to it. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in May, we're going to be reading Braving the Wilderness by Brene Brown. And it's about the quest or the yeah, I don't want to say art, the quest for belonging
Hmm.
and also being alone. And there's some awesome quotes from that book that I've thought a lot about. But there are some things in that book that luckily have made a permanent inside out memory, little marble that we could talk about. And that doesn't always happen, but there
Hmm.
are a couple of places in that book that I just thought, oh wow, and core memory made right there. So yeah,
Yes.
I'm excited to read that one together.
Yes. Yes. I can't wait. I don't know if I've read it all. I don't know. We'll have to see. They're all
Yeah,
similar, her
yeah, they
books.
are.
But they're so good. Such a good writer, and they're always really, really good. I think I have
They
all of
are.
them, so I should. But
Yeah.
anyway, exciting. So
Okay.
that's May.
Yes. And then
Yes.
June, July, and August, we're going to go back and do our summer shorts like we did last year. So, um, coming closer to it, hopefully we'll have a better idea of what we're going to be doing, but
Yeah.
just things as they come up. Because like last year, we did a movie that had just recently come out, and so I think we'll be talking about just different ways of ways that we found wholeness, and
Hmm.
hopefully could just keep it short for summer and keep it a little bit lighter. Not that
Hmm.
anything is super heavy, but just a little bit lighter for the summer.
Yeah.
In September, we're going to be reading No Bad Parts by
Hmm.
Richard Schwartz, and this is one of Michelle's. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's your favorite book or your favorite topic, but maybe your
Yeah.
favorite.
One of my favorite topics. Yeah. Just, I feel like if people understood the concepts that he teaches in that book, the world would just change. It would just shift completely
Yeah.
because it's understanding, it's such compassion for ourselves and such compassion for other people, and really a way of dialoguing with ourselves in a way that I don't know. It's just I see too many, like a lot of clients that I see, I see that they're just like, I don't know what's wrong with me. This is I just can't pull myself together. What's wrong with me? And I just think on every level, on some level, I should say, everything makes sense. It always makes sense. And when we allow for that to be true and get curious about this part of us that's doing that, then we can that's when we can move it. If we're just always pushing it, it's like if you're like if you go to the gym and your gym trainer just keeps pushing you past what you should do, if they're like 100 jumping, 100 sit-ups, go, and you're like throwing up and sick and not feeling good, and they're just like, keep going, go, go. I feel like that's what we do to ourselves so
Mm,
often, is we like, instead of saying, hey, what's going on here? There must be a logical reason. It's got to make sense somewhere. So anyway, that's what no bad parts is all about. That we do not have any bad parts. They all make sense. He started the book, or he's written several books, but he started the process of what's called internal family systems. I think it just had its 40th anniversary. It's been so long ago.
Wow.
And and he was working with women who had eating disorders and were just so hard on themselves. And one one day he just kind of said, what does he could all of a sudden he picked up on the women saying, well, part of me wanted to, but part of me didn't want to. Part of me knew it was wrong, but I did it anyway. And he was like, so there's two parts there. That's two different parts inside of them. And as he developed and worked, we do have these parts. It's so true. I find them in myself self all the time when I start to feel anxious, or or even when I'm feeling good. I'm like, hey, parts, let's go. This is kind of fun, isn't it? And it's almost like I have this internal dialogue with myself and my little parts, these pieces of myself, that like just like when you read that book, Braving the Wilderness, and you felt like you had that core, that it made a core memory for you. It's almost like we have those for good and bad. It's like, oh, there's that core memory that comes in and doesn't want me to succeed there, so it's going to get me sick or whatever. So The Big Leap and that book are really good companion books if you are wanting to, really good companion books when you're wanting to, learn more about yourself, to go inside,
Yeah.
grow
Great.
and go. So
Yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about that. That will be a really fun book
Yeah.
to read. And then October, we're going to be reading Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. And that is also kind of a creative book. Would you agree? Yeah.
Yes.
And I listen to that. I love listening to Liz Gilbert read. I just really do love her voice.
Yes, you're right.
I am going to read it so I can underline things and stuff like that. But if
Yeah.
you want to listen to that one, that she has an excellent reading voice.
She does.
Yeah, and there's a really good nuggets in that one too that I think about a lot.
Yep.
So
I have this memory of mowing my lawn, like listening to that book in my ears, mowing my lawn, and just being like, what? Like, that's amazing. Like, oh my gosh, that's right. I totally know what you're talking about.
Right.
So it's good. Yeah. And it's all about, yeah. And again, back to the even creative act. It's like, what are you here to do in the world? And let it be. Stop thinking maybe I'm not good enough.
Right.
Just do it. Everybody's worried about their stuff. They're not worried, you just show up.
Yes.
So,
yes.
and that's one of the books that just gives you that momentum, that feeling of like, okay, I can do it. I can do that. Yeah. That's for me.
Yeah. I'm excited about that one.
Yeah.
And then November is our only, and it's a memoir, but it's 3 Weeks with My Brother, and it's by Nicholas Sparks. And it's a story about him traveling with his brother to see the seven wonders of the world. And as they go along, they're discovering pieces of their childhood, they're learning big lessons, or reminiscing about the lessons that they've learned. And it's been a while since I've read it, but I remember that being a book that changed me. And so I'm excited to share it with you because it's older. It's been out for quite a while. And yeah, I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned in that book. And I think all of us could write a book like that. I mean, and we can talk about that later, but just all of us have these life experiences that kind of sometimes can boil down, and we all kind of share that commonality in our lives with certain things. But I'm probably talking really weird about, some of those experiences. When you read it, you'll know. But yeah, I'm really excited for that one. So if you're not a Nicholas Sparks fan, read it. If you are a Nicholas Sparks fan, read it, because I think you'll be able to pull stuff out of it. It's not his typical book. So
romance. It's not the romance as much. It doesn't sound like it, at least. Yeah,
No.
I can't wait. I've already got it ready to go.
Yeah. Oh, good. There is an element of tragedy. I would say every Nicholas Sparks has a little bit of tragedy. So trigger warning, there's death in it, but everyone is going to have death in their lives.
Right,
so.
right.
Yeah.
True.
And then December, we decided that I think we're just going to be sharing little Christmas stories that we've liked over the years. I've made it's not a goal, more of a habit to buy Christmas books every year, like picture books and as my kids get older, we've kind of aged out of it a little bit, but the next generation is going to be excited about them. So
Yeah, I have like a little we have like a little collection of Christmas books that sit in our, I pull them out of our, decorations, and they've been there for so long. Like they've been there for so long, and it's not like we've pulled them out and necessarily read them every year. They've just been this little stack of books. And so I put them out this year, and it was interesting. Some of my kids are all adults, to go over to that and start to pick them up and look at them, and I remember that, and just it was just for the first time. I think now that they all turned into adults, it's almost just like all of them are like, okay, this is different. And it was my son who's been away for 4 years, especially. So he was like, I remember this book, and he just sat with that book, and you could just see like all those synapses going on in his brain, like, all the feels and all the memories. It all comes like at one moment, in one, you're just almost back as a kid. And so those are special. So those kind of books, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're children's books, but there's more to it than that. They're really special. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think like the Polar Express. I mean, I don't know how long that book has been out. It's been a while.
Yep.
But and the movie's special and I like it, but the book, like Chris Van Allsburg's drawings are so magical. I just looking at those as like a little kid, and just the wonder, and yeah, I really there's magic
Yeah.
in those books.
Yep, they are. So that's going to be our year.
Yes,
That's our year.
and we're going to have a calendar available for you to purchase. So we will be putting that on our social media, and we'll have a link in our bio to buy that calendar. And you can either buy a physical copy, or if you want to hang it on your wall and follow along with us, or if you want to buy a PDF, that will be an option for that as well. And I'm really excited about that. I don't know if that's old fashioned or if it's just because I'm more of a visual person, but I love a calendar. I love a paper calendar.
Yeah.
I buy a couple every year.
Yeah. My mom was that way too. She had the one she kept in her purse, and then she had the one on the wall. Yeah, she was totally it. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I really like that. And some people are digital and it works really, really well. I have to have both. I have to
Yeah.
be able to have it in multiple places. So I feel your mom. Like that is
Yep. It's some kind of Gemini. You gotta have
yes, multiple places because we're just torn between two all the time.
maybe that's it. But anyway, we're excited to start this new kind of theme for 2025, and we're really excited about all the different things we have coming up. And so get your books, join us. Maybe we'll meet online and have like a little book club at some point or another, if that shows up and we want to do that. If we get a lot of people with questions, we might as well gather and have a little book club. So that'll be fun. We're talking about that, whether we're gonna offer that. Maybe not every book, but we might do that a couple times. Yeah. So
okay.
We'll see you next year.
Yeah.
When most people are asked what they want, they will answer, I want to be happy. But happy takes practice. And that's what the Wholeness Library is all about. So check it out free at thewholenessnetwork.com.